Hi, I'm Mr. Franklin, and welcome to week 2 of quarter 2. And we are currently in the unit where we're going to be discussing energy. And so this week, we are actually going to jump in with both feet. We're going to start off talking about work because energy is defined as the ability to do work. So we're going to start off with what work is, and then we're going to learn about potential energy this week. Next week, we'll get into kinetic energy and thermal energy and talk a little bit about power. And then the next week, we'll talk about conservation of energy specifically. We're going to talk about conservation of energy and work and energy and how it all fits together as we go. It can be kind of confusing because it's almost like we're talking about the same thing, but talking about it in different ways. And that's because we are. We're going to start off with baby steps, and we're going to be talking about work first. So before we go any further, let's jump into our agenda and jump into this week. When you get onto your homepage, this week's module will now be at the very top. So all you should have to do is click in the agenda for whichever block you're in. Block 1 and 2, the agenda is slightly different than block 3 and 4, even though the items are actually the same. When you go into the agenda, you have your weekly overview video, which will be posted here, and then you will have your links for the week. So the first thing we're going to have you do is plan your week. You're going to use your planner that you chose last week. So I want you to use your weekly agenda page that we just left, and I clicked on this, use the weekly agenda page to plan your week. You're going to take a picture of your plan for the week, and you're going to upload it here. And one of the things I want you to understand is when we get to the end of the week, we do our weekly reflection. One of the things we're going to do is go back to the plan we made at the beginning and take a look and see, you know what, I didn't leave enough room in my plan to actually do the video notes. That took way longer than I expected. Or, wow, that took me 5 minutes and I had planned an hour. Okay, so maybe I can adjust my plan in the future. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. But first, you have to make a plan in order to reflect on it. Your plan should be specific. Many of you are writing, I'm just going to do my math homework. I want you to be specific. I want you to use the assignment numbers. So I'm going to use 4.2.2. I'm going to use 4.2.5. Be specific. The more specific you can be, the better. I also would like you to try to be as specific as you can as to time. For me, that means I'm going to do that in the morning before lunch. I'm going to do that in the afternoon after lunch. Some things you should schedule by the hour. Some things you can't because of life. Okay, so be as specific as you can, and I think you will find it will help you quite a bit. Okay, especially if you stick to the plan. So that's part of what planning you're supposed to do with it is stick to the plan as much as you can, and then when things happen and you need to make a change, you know what you're changing. Sometimes we're just bebopping along doing whatever. The plan changes and we don't realize the plan changed, and now we've not done a couple of assignments or something else gets left out. Okay, so it's okay to make a change, but make sure you're planning and adjusting to those changes appropriately. What's not in our agenda this week is vocabulary study time. So it's not specified in our agenda. So that is totally up to you, but you should have some vocabulary study time put in there, even if it's 10 minutes, and then make sure you do it. You study those vocabulary words. You should also be prepared to extend your planner out to December 18th. December 18th is the last day of this quarter, the last day of this class. So make sure that you are prepared to plan out to that far, because this week we're going to release information on the quarter project. So you will need to be ready to do that. So then once you are there, all you should have to do is submit assignment and then do the file upload or go to Google Drive, or if you use one of these others, you may upload your picture of your plan here. And then if you have any specific questions about what kind of planner or how you're doing your plan, you could message me there. Okay, once you've got your plan in place, then the next thing for you to do on Monday is go ahead and take the video notes on work. I have started leaving, you should still be doing the Cornell note style and writing a summary at the end, but I've given you some essential questions that you should make sure you are capturing as I'm going. I think these notes are very clear and very simple. Okay, so it shouldn't be too difficult to follow along with what's going on. But make sure that when you are done with your notes, you can at least to a large degree answer these 6 questions. So this or is actually, it's either this question or it's this question, but you need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and then write a summary of what you learned. Then you're going to have a Google Doc where you are going to answer questions straight from the notes. Okay, so make sure that you do the file, make a copy, and then rename it. So I click on it. First thing I'm going to do is go to File, make a copy, and change it to your name, not my name. I'm going to do it correctly though. So Franklin 4.2.2, click OK. And now you can work using this document. So the first 4 questions, the first 4 questions are just from your notes. If you have problems with number 4, make sure you note any questions you have about number 4 and bring it to the Zoom on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I will address some of those questions then, okay? Then number 1, 2, 3, and 4 underneath that are 7-step problems, okay? You should use your composition book and do it on paper. Do it by hand, and you should insert the picture in the green box. Okay. I've seen more mistakes with people trying to do it digitally, so I really would like you to try to do it by hand and then take a picture of it and insert the picture here. To insert the picture, all you should have to do is go to Insert, Image, and then from Drive or from your photos or from your camera. You may need to do this from your phone, depending on how things are working, but you should be able to just take the picture, put it in Drive, and then find it in Drive. And if you know an easier way, then please do it that way. Okay, so to do this work, you will need the equation sheet. And so what you need to do is go to Files, and there's the equation sheet folder and equation sheet full. You click on that, and we are going to be using these equations right here. These equations right here. Okay, we are now in the energy unit, so we are now over here. We are not using any of these for now. We could, but we're not going to. We're going to stick with force and distance. Just know that a force is F equals ma, so that may actually come up, okay? But we are using this equation for this particular assignment. We are not actually using any of the others, just this top one. Okay, and just like in the video, you may have to do some algebra with it. Make sure that you work as much as you can and work it out, show your work, so that then we can address any problems you're having. Because it seems really easy when you don't have to do algebra, and then all of a sudden now you're doing algebra and it can get confusing when it shouldn't be, but it does. Okay, so that's what we're doing with our equation sheet. That's the equation we're going to use for all of those problems. So then on Tuesday or Wednesday for our Zoom, we are going to talk about our quarter project. Those details are still not finalized with all the other physics teachers. So we are doing that hopefully tomorrow. But as soon as we do, you will get more information on that. And then you will have a miniature assignment that's to help you choose what you're going to be doing for your quarter project and get started. But on Wednesday, then you're going to have potential energy video notes. So you click on that, you watch the video notes. You will notice that when you do watch these, that it is part of a playlist. So if you wind up in the playlist, make sure you are watching the potential energy video. And when we get to the end, I am working some 7-step problems, okay? So for that one, we are using potential energy. So our equation sheet is now going to be using this equation right here. Okay, now it's confusing, but it's just U equals mgh. The potential energy equals mass times the acceleration due to gravity times h. The ug is kind of like the fg down here. It should be u and then like a subscript g, not to be confused with the g here. So that g is actually a variable. This G is just telling you what kind of potential energy it is. So that G is telling you it's gravitational potential energy. It's written big, so it looks like it's the same thing as that, but it is not. That is just telling you that that's potential, gravitational potential energy, and that's the acceleration due to gravity, which is right here. Okay, so be very careful. It's U equals mass times the acceleration due to gravity times height, and the video note should explain the rest of that. Okay, so just be really careful about that. But that's the equation for this homework that you're going to use. Once again, though, here are the major questions for that. You should be able to answer all those questions. And then you have your homework. And the same thing, go to File, make a copy, and then you have your concept questions at the top. And then you have your 7-step problems underneath. Okay? And the video note should explain how to do all of those. Okay, the final Zoom of the week, whether it's Thursday or Friday, will be a recap of work and potential energy. It will also be a connection between the two. We'll be connecting them, and then you will be spending the day studying for your quiz and preparing your Rube Goldberg Part 2. Rube Goldberg Part 2, you should already have thought about it. Maybe even some of you have already designed it. But you are going to do the Part 2, and you're going to basically do a design. I'm not going to make you actually make it. You can if you want to, if it's safe to do so, and you're not going to do something you shouldn't. Okay, so make sure that you're getting permission from your parents, and you're taking care of property that's around you, material, because if you're like dropping a bowling ball, it can crack concrete. So, you know, be really careful and mindful of where you're at and what you're doing if you actually decide to build it, and make sure that your parents know what you were doing. But the actual building is optional. The design is not. So you're going to design a 10-step Rube Goldberg machine where the 10th step is the balloon pops. We're going to pop a balloon. So for my example, I rolled a ball down the hill and it knocks toilet paper off the table. The toilet paper lands on a ruler and catapults an action figure into a basket, and the basket's going to do something. And we get to the end and the balloon gets popped. Okay? So you're going to put in your 9 steps and leading up to the 10th step. Then you're going to, by hand, you're going to draw out your plan. You're going to draw out your plan, kind of like do your best to draw it out and label what's going on. This is step 1, this is step 2. You'll have to do it by hand most likely, and then take a picture of it and insert the picture right here. Okay, once you've got your plan done, then you're going to go back to your plan and look at where is work acting in your Rube Goldberg machine. And I only want you to pick one example. You're going to identify one example, and you're going to use that one example. And here are 2 examples that I'm saying that I came up with this. And so you're going to type in my step, and then what is your example of a force acting over a distance, because that is work. Okay, then you're going to do the same thing for potential energy. Okay, you're going to read the definitions, kind of rethink what potential energy is, and then you're going to look through your design and find where is potential energy acting in my machine. If it's not, then you need to be able to tell me it's not and why. Okay, and you have to be really careful, because if it's off the ground, hint, hint, potential energy is in play somehow. Now, does it affect your machine? It may not, but it is in play if it is not on the ground. Okay, so we're just getting into this, but I figured it would be time to go ahead and give you the opportunity to earn some extra points. So this is optional. You may make a video explaining your Rube Goldberg and the work and energy found in your design. So this will be optional. Work will be worth 20 points of extra credit, okay? But you're gonna make a video explaining your machine, what it does, and what's the work and energy that's acting in your machine. This can be done from your drawing, or you can actually build it and then run the machine and then explain what happened. You can build it in real life. There is actually a program called, I'm going to say it wrong, but Algodo, which you can put on iPad, Mac, or PC, and you can actually have the computer run the Rube Goldberg. I've had a student share this with me, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. So you can do that. There are other programs as well. I will be giving you points based on your explanation of your machine and the energy and work found in your machine. So you do not have to build it unless you want to, okay? Some of you might just find that fun. So the main thing is you could take your piece of paper with your design on it where you had to draw it out for the actual homework and just say, hi, I'm Mr. Franklin, and here is my drawing of my machine. And right here, the broom falls down and pops a balloon. That is potential energy. Okay, so you could do that. As simple as that. That's all I'm looking for. Then you will have your quiz for the week. This week's quiz will be on work, potential energy. It will cover mostly vocab, units, variables. It will have a couple of ideas regarding graphs and how do we think about work and graphing, specifically calculating the area under a graph. There will also probably be 1 or 2 questions about the quarter project. And that will be open hopefully on Friday, if not Thursday, early, in the afternoon on Thursday. I'm going to try to open it early, but it will definitely be open on Friday. The last thing is your weekly reflection. So make a copy for yourself and name it appropriately. So notice I'm going to stop putting the exact details on how to do that because you should already know how to do that. Please be as specific as possible when you do your reflection. And I want to show you that I've changed it up a little bit. So be real careful. So the first thing is you're going to look at your plan for the week that you started on Monday. So on Friday, you're going to look at the plan you made, what worked like you had planned it and why, what did not work. You know, did it take too long? Was it too fast? And now you have something that more time than you had planned on. Okay. While that's a good thing, can affect your plan. Okay. So make sure that you're recording. How did your plan work? And then you're going to be, okay, I did the work like I was supposed to, but I'm lost. I don't know how this work and potential energy connects. So please be as specific as possible. I need help with 4.2.4. I don't understand how can work be like this? How can work only act in the same direction as the force? Ask specific questions. This first question is what I don't need help with, and this next question is what I do need help with. And then what actions are you going to take to fix your misunderstandings? I am going to try to cover some of your questions in the following week, but ultimately it is up to you to get my attention and make sure that I'm addressing your questions appropriately. So what actions are you going to take? Like always, I have suggested actions for you to take, whether it's email me, Google Meet or Zoom for tutorial time, a CAVE meeting, because maybe you just need someone else to help you look at it and read it, and it'll take you 5 minutes, or maybe and it may be because you're planned. During the 1 o'clock tutorial time, Mr. Franklin is doing tutorials, and I've got soccer practice then, and I can't do it then. So I got to go to CAVE to get my help. So please do that. If you are in Mr. Wolkin or Miss Farley's class, you can also email them. But in other words, make a plan of what you're going to do, okay? And kind of let me know what your plan is. All right. And then that will conclude this week. The other thing that if you are in the no mark or D category, please be patient with me. Physics teachers are putting together a plan for you to recapture credit for Q1, and I will get that out to you as soon as possible. So that concludes this video. Please make sure that you are going through the agenda, making a plan, and then executing your plan to the best of your ability. And I will see you on Tuesday or Wednesday in our Zoom. All right, see ya.